Looks like I'm live on my side. Well, anyways, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Magical Coffee Hour. If you are not new to the channel, what's up, guys? It's the Linda, aka Caffeine and Chaos. If you're new, welcome to Caffeine and Chaos during the Magical Coffee Hour. This handsome devil to my left is the wonderful, the only Drake, the Working Dragon Mystic. Also, if you want to go to his channel, it is the Working Dragon Mystic here on Twitch. His hello, cat. His YouTube channel and his Facebook group. You can also find him as the Working Dragon on Twitter. What's up, Drake?
Not much. And hello, Black Tower. I see you made it this week.
Hell yeah! What's up, Black Tower? Welcome to the stream, as always, friendo. Let me pull some stuff up. Let's click some buttons, twist some knobs, and screw some things. I mean, what?
He was trying to catch us last week and waiting, and for some reason the stream didn't show up for him.
What?
That's what happened. He messaged me.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that, Black Tower. So, to get you all caught up, last week we kind of went over the do's and don'ts of Magick, aka how to not be a jerk and culturally appropriate anybody. And then we started on the basic rules of Magick. Now, what you probably do or do not know is that Magick has many, many rules and lots of things to live by. We stopped at number 6. I'm going to go ahead and do a really quick recap of the first 6. Drake, feel free to just chime on in if there's anything you want me to get in depth on or you want to get in depth on.
Which one was number 6 again?
Number 6. Law of sympathy. I don't think we went over sympathy.
No, we didn't. It was 5.
So we only did 1 through 5.
May have.
So let's go over 1 through 5 real quick so you guys can be all caught up. And then if you are really curious as a little in-depth information on each of those, then head on over to the Working Dragon Mystic on YouTube and you will see the recap. Or you can just check out the recap on his or my Twitch channels.
Yep.
Anyway, laws of magic. The law of knowledge. Number 2, the law of self-knowledge. Not to be confused with law of knowledge, but basically, what do you know, what do you don't know, and what do you know about yourself, what do you not know about yourself. Law of cause and effect. What comes around goes around. Law of synchronicity. Lots of words that hurt my face. So 2 or more events happening at the same time. Law of associations. Are there 2 or more patterns that are occurring? Law of sympathy is where we have left off.
Yep. So you want to read the law of sympathy?
Sure. I will try to be as sympathetic about it as possible. But,
did we cover that one?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
At least I don't think we did. And for some reason,
I get hit in the head a lot.
It's okay. I'll tell Seffi to quit being so mean to you.
But I like it.
Anyways. I mean, if you asked for it, that's a whole nother scenario. Okay, so the law of sympathy, according to this, is things that have an affinity with each other, influence, and interact with each other over a distance. Everything is connected to everything else. I'm connected to you, you're connected to me. There's the law of 6 degrees. I don't think that applies here, but tell us about the law of sympathy.
Okay, law of sympathy, it is based upon everything is connected. So, the ideal is if you can find a commonality between 2 things, you can actually use that commonality to manipulate that joint connection to create a change in the other thing. A great example of this is candle magic. So the correspondences for candle magic, for example, green. Everyone usually wants the green candles because it deals with money. So the green candle and its associations connects it with money. And therefore it will also connect it with your bank account. So you can create a change in the flow of money in your life through that sympathetic connection.
So with that being said, because, I like being difficult. Okay. I'm a difficult human being. I mean, you can ask my husband. He probably would tell you that I'm difficult to be around sometimes, especially when I'm on a murderous rampage, but we won't get into that. what if I don't want green to be my associated color to money? Maybe I like gold.
Then use
But
gold.
okay.
This is actually something I covered in my candle video. When you look at a correspondence chart, it's a general guideline. Think of Barbossa in Pirates of the Caribbean. Magical correspondence, they're not rules. They're what you might call guidelines.
Okay.
In fact, the correspondence that will work best for you is the one that makes the most sense for you. Because the whole ideal of the correspondence is if it makes sense to you, your subconscious will pick up on that symbolism. And your subconscious is going to make a stronger magical effect than your conscious mind. Because your conscious mind is where doubt resides. Your subconscious, it has no doubts, it has no opinion, it believes entirely. So if you can get your subconscious to latch onto it, that change is more likely to manifest.
Okay. So kind of like when you're in a lucid dream
Yeah.
or you're sleepwalking or something like that.
Yep. It's kind of like why dreams are so hard to interpret for other people, because the symbolism for you might not be the standard.
Sorry for the ringing. Cat came after the bell.
That's okay.
Okay. So I think I get that. So any spell work that I want to do that is typically associated with something very specific may not necessarily be as for that specific purpose of somebody else.
Exactly.
But you can generalize just to make things easier on everybody else.
Yeah, and that's essentially what they try to do, is they will try to create a generalized average of correspondence to get you started and to get you working and practicing, so that through research and testing, the ideal was over time, you would create your own correspondence table with what works best for you. It's just modern day, we've tossed out the research and test and just went with copy paste the table and here it is.
Okay. Sounds easy enough.
Like on most of those tables, love is usually a pink candle. I hate pink. I can't use pink candles for most things because I just don't like it. Pink doesn't resonate with me on just about any level.
Okay, well then don't look at my cat's bed.
That's okay. Seffi's cat had a pink bed and a pink blanket. He loved pink. So.
Aw, he was a happy kitty cat. Alright, moving on to rule number 7. If at any point in time you can't understand me or you can't hear me, just let me know. I understand that there is like somebody doing lawn work outside, but it is a beautiful day and it feels nice to have the windows open for once. And it's making me happy.
You're coming through pretty good on this side.
Perfection. If somebody can't hear me in the stream or in the chat, just let me know. And, you know, if I look like I'm crazy and just talking to myself, that's fine.
And if y'all have any questions, chime in.
Please do. Here, let me put my phone on charge because that's what I'm using to read these laws here. The law of similarity. Like produces like, and an effect resembles its cause. Having an accurate image of something facilitates control over it. Lookalikes are alike. Explain.
This is exactly where you get the concept of a voodoo doll, using a photograph, those kinds of things. Photograph is probably the most common in modern magic. If you have a likeness of the person, object, or thing you're wanting to affect, then it gives you something to channel that energy into to create the change that you're wanting. So, for example, if I was wanting to do a healing spell for you, having a photograph of you would make it far, far easier because I have a likeness of you. I can actually do the work on the likeness and therefore cause the effect directly on you, even over a distance.
Long distance.
Yep.
Okay, so you brought up voodoo dolls and stuff. So I do have like a question about those. So on Etsy,
Uh-oh.
and I know I should stay away from Etsy, especially, you know, with the way things are and shit. But anyways, on Etsy, they tend to have a lot of like voodoo dolls and things called poppets. Could you explain that to me real quick? Because what's a poppet? Is it the same thing as a voodoo doll, or is it different?
Um, they are different. I'm trying to figure out how I can answer this question appropriately without crossing lines. A poppet is any doll shaped. It can be in the likeness of the person. It can just be a sewn up doll, and you can fill it with herbs or put a name on it. And poppet magic is traditionally what most people think of when they think of voodoo dolls. And if you have like a hair, a fingernail, or something like that to connect the poppet with the person, even better. The real line that defines the difference between a poppet and a voodoo doll is in its creation, because there's actually spirits and entities that take part in the creation of a voodoo doll. There's a very specific process set aside. And even in voodoo, poppets are used as are voodoo dolls, and they're completely separate categories.
So I'm going to bring some pop culture into this. I promise. I promise I'll be coming right back, because like the whole voodoo thing kind of got my brain stirring. Princess and the Frog. Did you ever watch Princess and the Frog, the Disney?
Yes,
movie?
I did. It was after a surgery.
Okay, cool. So the voodoo man, when he makes like the little trinket with the blood and everything like that. Okay, so though his friends on the other side, would they be what you would be considered like used to make said voodoo doll?
Yes.
Okay. So
And
they're like
Black Tower, you are correct. Poppets can be reused over and over because they're not necessarily specifically tied to one person or thing most of the time. If you put something in there like a picture or a fingernail or something to tie it, you'd have to remove that before you used it, unless you're just continuing to reuse it on the same person. But you are correct. A voodoo doll, once it's created, it's locked into its purpose.
okay, so basically like another pop culture reference here. Futurama, what up?
Now,
Like,
I will say this, though. This is something, because the way I answered that question, I want to make sure to point this out. Anyone who pays attention to Princess and the Frog will notice that when he does his little Friends on the Other Side song, all the sigils and glyphs in the background flashing across the wall. Those are actually Vives of the actual voodoo Loa.
Oh,
Now,
interesting.
Loa are not nasty little demons as presented in that movie. Because that movie did paint all his friends on the other side as just nasty little buggers. So as good as the movie did, it really didn't represent it as well as it should, because they just used all the Vives.
I mean, they gotta get it kind of right sometimes, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, they did do a wonderful job. And unless you're pausing the movie, zooming in to see what Vives are there, most people probably won't notice. But on Twitter and other places, people have it amazes me how many people zoom in a frame.
Oh, there's people who are obsessed over that shit.
So
But
I felt that was important to mention.
but what I was about to say about Futurama is like they have the robots that can be programmed to look like certain people, certain like celebrities and stuff. But then if you hit the reset button, you can change it to look like somebody else or have a different personality. So basically that's what you're saying that is.
Yeah.
A puppet. Okay, cool. Okay, going back to our laws of magic now. Sorry about that little segue, but you had me curious. And
It's actually a really good movie, Black Tower. It really is. After that movie came out, though, I've been called Dr. Facilier more times than I can count.
It'll make you want to eat gumbo. It'll make you want to eat some beignets. Like, that movie made me hungry on so many levels.
Yeah.
I wish they would have focused a little bit more on his friends on the other side, because like the music that they used and the visual effects they used for the friends on the other side, amazing, just beautiful. It was great. It spoke to my little goth heart. Anyways, back to the laws. Law of contagion. Cat just bit me. Objects or beings once in contact with each other continue to interact after separation. Magic is contagious. Oh, contagion. Like, okay. So basically, anything, like, they basically are Facebook friends now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are correct, Black Tower. That is one of your Zaylee's colors, though, and I'm probably not pronouncing that right. I apologize. Bad voodoo person. But there are other colors and associations that can be used to work with that Loa. And yeah, you got your. Yep, you're pretty accurate there. Good job. Yes, so I've never heard it described as Facebook friends, but that's freaking awesome. But Law of Contagion is the one where we actually get an article of their clothing or something, or their hair. Because if something's been in contact, then that connected vibration remains. And the longer it was in contact, the stronger the vibration. So the more contact and possession of the thing that the person has had, the easier it is going to do the spell work using that item. That's why hair is so popular, because its entire life was connected to the person. Clothing, also great. But actually, I've found that if you can get jewelry, emotionally attached jewelry, it will have a stronger effect than hair in most cases. Because more people are attached to stuff like that than they are their hair. Because this day and age, we have the mentality, hair will grow back, we don't care. I mean, y'all saw me this summer. I just shaved my head on a whim. So.
Well, you've seen my hair recently, you know.
Yeah, so.
I did just cut it again.
And that's why it's called Contagion, because it's picking that up.
Okay. When I think of Contagion, I think of movies about viruses and stuff sticking around for too long.
Well, depending on how you do the magic, it could be viewed that way. Because, honestly, when people's trying to do baneful magic, they want everything they can to target the person. So they'll try to get fingernails, hair, article of clothing, pictures, you name it.
Okay. Law of positive attraction.
Oh, I love this. This and the next one. I really love these two.
Like attracts like. To create a particular reality, you must put out energy of a similar sort, which is sent in returns. And then to just kind of group it in with the number 10, law of negative attraction. Like attracts unlike. Energy and actions often attract their complementary opposites. Opposites attract.
Yep. These two at first huh?
I feel like that's karma.
This is the scientific thought process on karma. And this is also why I really don't believe in karma. And if you look at them, it almost sounds like they contradict each other.
They do.
That they don't, though. Not when you look at it on the universal scale. When people first get into the ideal of law of attraction, positive thinking, and those things, they're told if you stay positive and think positive, only positive things are going to come to you. You'll manifest what it is you're thinking. And that usually works for about a week or so, and then something will happen. They'll stub their toe, they'll have a bad day, and inevitably they sit down, pout, and say, this shit don't work. They give up, and they just quit. And Black Tower is on a roll today. So, the reason the second one's there is because the first one is stating what you're focusing the energy in your life on. and what you're trying to draw into your life. So, to use an abstract number, 90% of what's going to be coming your way is going to be what you're focused on. However, the second one also points out there's still the other 10%, and you have to be ready for it. So when you do stub your toe, when you do fall on your ass, that is essentially the universe balancing out the other 90%. It doesn't erase it, it doesn't undo it, but yeah, you stubbed your toe, but you have a whole week of all this other great stuff. So cuss, swear, do whatever it is you have to get past the stubbed toe, and get back on your horse and get going and continue to manifest what it is that you're wanting in your life.
I tell a lot of people that I hope they get diarrhea or they have to pee and the bathroom's full when they cut me off in traffic.
Oh, that's horrible.
I mean, you cut me off in traffic. I hope at least something very inconvenient happens to you.
I mean, honestly, if I was in the Navy, I'd probably be wishing double dragon on somebody. So,
I mean, that happens so much, and it goes around the office so much. I don't wish it on anyone. If I'm feeling extra froggy, I'd say I really hope that your mother gets diarrhea today.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so have a question in regards to this.
Okay.
So, this question, I've been kind of hinting at it for a little bit now, but now that we're on to this, I feel like it's more appropriate to ask this question here now rather than previous things we've talked about. So during Australia's fires, okay, you may actually know what I'm about to go into. During Australia's fires, it was a huge thing on the magical message boards, forums, Facebook groups, Tumblr groups, Reddit posts, to pass around this very specific sigil for rain and to say prayers, chants, vibrations, all this stuff to bring rain to Australia during brush fires. Now, I understand that was nothing but good intentions to help save the lives of many animals and people who were in the wake of the fires. And I do believe it was done in the utmost positive and good intentions possible. However, putting that much energy worldwide into a very specific event going on in one area of the world, couldn't that potentially cause an adverse reaction elsewhere in the world, such as drought, flooding, even in Australia, where they need that rain, desperately need that rain to keep the fires out and all that stuff, or, excessive rain or water, water-related issues or fire-related issues elsewhere in the world due to the amount of energy that was put into bringing the rains to Australia.
Yes.
I keep wanting to say Africa because we all blow the rains down in Africa.
It really can, and the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Hey, that's my current Skype name right now.
One of the things people don't understand is nature has its own systems of doing what it needs. And fire is actually one of the things that nature uses to clean, cleanse, and create. I actually saw a ritual done by witches who claim they know all about nature to regrow this land that they said had been clear cut.
Okay.
It had not been clear cut. All the people had done is gone in and clear away all the dead brush and briar and all that should lightning had struck, it would have caught the whole forest on fire. So instead, because they didn't want the property to burn or the forest, they went in and systematically cleaned out all that brush, allowing the trees and the animals to grow more healthily. And should something strike, it's less likely that a fire is going to catch. So they stepped in and they basically done what the fire would have done without destroying the other plants. This is something farmers have done for years and they understand this.
And a lot of fire departments will actually come and do that,
Yes.
like
In fact, I'm
in
pretty sure the
areas
fire department's the ones who done it.
controlled
But
fires.
these witches who knew nothing about forestry or understanding what was actually done tried to heal the land and basically put back the problem. And that is the hubris of mankind. We do not understand that death and destruction are just as important in nature. I'm sorry. I mean, people try to, it's like vegans telling everybody has to be vegan. A lion will not be a vegan.
Nope.
And a lion will not apologize for eating the gazelle. That's Mother Nature.
There was
So you do have to consider these factors. And I saw the sigil that went around, and I saw the amount of energy being put into it. And I also saw a lot of questions come up. If magic works, why are the fires still burning? And there's a lot of entities out there that their entire job is to maintain the balance. And I don't care how much juice you put into it, you're not going to destroy the balance. And if that fire is part of the balance, that fire will burn to the point where its job is done. And then the rains or whatever will come. Now, you asked about flooding. Yes, that can happen. If there's too much energy once the rains come, or let's just say there's nothing preventing your magic, but you put too much juice to it. Yeah, you can trigger torrential floods. And in Australia, the wet season alone, I mean, those waters raise a lot. I mean, they can go up 20 feet in some places. Or more, possibly. So this is people in their hubris not considering the balance and not actually considering the law of nature.
Also, I have to say, Black Tower, I like your idea of crotch rot blue ball curse. That makes me happy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's not my friends that tend to be my male friends that tend to be the runners of honess. It tends to be my female friends that tend to be the hoes. Which there's nothing wrong with being a hoe unless you're causing issues for other people, and then stop being a hoe. Go be a hoe elsewhere.
Fair enough.
Facts. So, fun fact, there was a problem. There was an outbreak of, what was it? Deer? It was a type of deer. I don't remember what it was. It was some kind of herbivore that typically would be hunted by wolves and coyotes and stuff. And because the area was protected, people couldn't go hunting there. Mm-hmm. Well, it was overran by these herbivores that pretty much were just destroying all the plant populations, which was causing other herbivores and like insect feeders to basically die out because there was too many. I think it was deer. Now I'm thinking about it, I think it was deer. There were no like natural carnivores in that area to help take care of the deer population, and because it was a place where deer couldn't be hunted, they were running amok. So the forestry people of that area decided, hey, we're gonna go and ship in some fucking wolves from Canada or somewhere like that, and we're just gonna release them. Let nature take its course.
Yeah.
The deer population, dropped because that's what they were intending for it to do, because people weren't allowed to hunt them. So how else are you going to get rid of them? So they brought in some carnivores, technically omnivores, but whatever. So the deer population dropped. The wolf population actually became stable there, so they now have some actual an actual wolf population rather than just one or two random wolves running around. They actually have some small packs that are running around now. And then all of the animals that they thought had died out because of all the greenery and everything being taken out by the deer, it actually started to grow back. So all the smaller critters and the insectivores and all the smaller herbivores were actually thriving because they had to bring in. So
nature struck that balance.
I mean, it took a little human intervention to bring in the carnivores because they weren't just going to show up on their own randomly. But I thought those. So, same.
Yeah.
Moving on. The law of names. Hey, this happens to deal with a lot of fairies. I've been reading about fairies because they make me smile. Okay. Knowing the name. You know that which is named. Knowing the complete and true name of an object, being, or process gives one complete control over it. What's in a name? Everything.
Yep. Names are very, very powerful. Now, for most people, names really show up when we start talking about invocation and evocation. Because basically, you're calling to an entity across the multiverse and trying to get it to come to you and appear to before you. Now, when you start studying evocation, you're going to see all these different rituals and processes and sigils, and you got to have this incense and these candles and this circle drawn out on the floor. And most of the grimoires make it look like an extremely freaking complicated process. However, that said, you can summon any deity and any demon and any angel if you just have its name. Now, that may not be the easiest way, and some might even argue it's not the safest way, but honestly, I've never ran into any safety issues as long as I knew what I was summoning. And we're bypassing the Ouija board real easy here because we're using a direct name. And you usually need to make sure it is the correct name. And you can actually contact that entity and work with it directly with that name. Now, it also does give you control over it to some extent because, again, it's helping you target that specific entity. I do usually caution people on trying to dominate entities because that usually does not end well. And it can usually backfire on you pretty badly. Because most of these entities, they're very happy to help you, and they're honestly more likely to help you if you treat them with respect as opposed to trying to enslave them. And honestly, if you try to dominate a deity, that really goes bad. But if you not. I mean, even Christian prayers, they use multiple names of God to invoke that power because it's bringing that power down. Same thing with Norse. In Norse, it's a very common thing to refer to the different names of a god and their different titles and honors.
So, I guess.
And that said, actually, in dragon magic, dragons they're damn hard to get a name out of. And even when they give you a name, it won't be their true name. It'll be a name that they give to you. It's more like a direct phone line as opposed to their true name.
Interesting. That just creeps me out a little bit on the inside. However, I do read a lot of books, like fantasy novels and stuff, because I'm a dork like that. And I did know, at least with fairies, they don't like giving out their true names to anyone unless, they trust them. And with that being said, they also use a lot of false names, but not true false names because they can't lie, or they're not supposed to lie. I don't know. But to know that that's an actual thing across the board with all entities or higher beings, that's kind of terrifying and awesome all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. They can't lie, technically speaking, but their true name and an alias or a name that is theirs it's not a lie. I mean, technically, people could call me the Working Dragon Mystic. Is that my true name? No, but it is a name I'm known by. So if I was to give someone that as my name, that's not a lie.
It's true. I mean, there are a couple names that I go by.
Yeah.
We'll just go with the Linda as one of them because that's my gamer tag. That's pretty much everything I use on social media because it's just easy and it has a very special meaning. But some people who may or may not be watching right now know that I have another name that I have gone by for years, long before the Linda was ever born. And yeah, you call me by that, I'm probably going to answer a lot quicker than my actual name because, a lot of people are named Linda in this world.
Yep.
Mostly, 50-year-old women in HR. But there's a ton of Lindas in this world.
Yeah.
The other name, it's mostly strippers. So, I'm pretty safe.
And Black Tower, you're right. I actually have an entire journal of sigils that dragons have given me. Once I do actually publish the Dragon Magic course live, that grimoire will be shared. But a dragon's facial features they're as good as a thumbprint or a fingerprint. Just the way their bone structure, the scales, some of them have ridges and spikes. I mean, everyone's unique. You'll never find two the same. So yeah, I can totally see that working.
But what about your twins?
Okay, I've never looked at their faces that close. But now you got me wondering. I might actually have to look at that and real close and check. Let y'all know how that goes in another episode.
If we don't see him for a while, it's because he pissed off a dragon for getting too close.
Oh, those two. It's not unusual for me to wake up with them staring at me like right there.
Well, now you just need to sleep,
Pay
with one eye open and figure it out.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, they have enough.
Buddy, I'm not telling you my other name, at least not openly on here.
Yeah, even I'm not going to ask her that on here. But yeah, I mean, most people who's known me long enough, they'll know my name isn't Drake traditionally. That's a name that a mentor gave me because he always wanted a son named Drake. And that's what he always called me. And so many people have called me that for so many years. I no longer answer to what my real name would be. And other than just the headache of doing the paperwork, I've just not had it legally changed yet. So, I mean, I get it.
I mean, I don't think you've ever told me your actual biological name, and I really don't care to find out just because I've always known you as Drake.
The last person I told, they fell over in their seat laughing. It's like, yeah, that's not you. I actually almost got in trouble at work one time for it. Because my manager was hollering at me supposedly for near an hour, and I never turned around. And somebody's like, that's not his name. His name's Drake. And he's like, what? He hollered that, and I snapped around instantly.
All right, I'm going to move us on to the next question once I can get my screen to stop scrolling on its own because it's having a shit fit right now.
All right.
Quit having a shit fit, my dear. My dear. All right. Do. Oh, I like law number 13, but I will not skip number 12. Law of words of power. Certain words are able to alter the internal and external realities of those uttering them, and their power may rest in the very sounds as much as their meanings. A word to the wise is sufficient.
Yes, and this is talking about words that can function in and of spells themselves. Perhaps most people in the modern day are most common with the Elder Futhark. Each of those runes has a name, and that name in and of itself contains power and can be used to cast hundreds of spells with just that one name. So, Fehu being the first rune in the Elder Futhark, wealth, prosperity, and new beginnings is usually what it's given to be associated with. It has a lot more, but we'll just keep this simple. So, if you were wanting to do a wealth spell, or start a new venture, or a new phase in your life, or even well, we talked about the New Year's rituals. You could use Fehu as a word to chant to invoke its power and cast your spells with just that one word. And there's a whole series of books on angelic words of power, even.
Okay.
And they do work. I got all the books on my Kindle too, because I wanted to see if they actually would work in their simplicity. And those simple little rites and using those words can create massive changes in a person's life. So yes, the correct word can have a lot of power in it. And incantations and glossolalia that you may pick up through meditation or working with different entities, they'll create a vibration as well that can create change.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go onto my favorite law.
Uh-oh. What's her favorite one, people?
We're bringing Nellie in.
Oh, Lord. I think I know this one.
Because Nellie's a person too, you know.
Yeah.
Law of personification.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Any phenomenon may be considered to be alive and to have a personality, that is, to be, or an entity or being, and may be effectively dealt with thusly. Anything can be a person. Nellie, you can be a person, not just my familiar.
Yep. This one is actually magnificent. I love this one. And when I first got into evocation, I really, really tinkered with this. Anything can be personified as an intelligent entity and evoked or worked with. Even Nellie. And
Nellie.
Because that, you can actually assign it with purpose, intelligence, and power. What?
I'm listening.
So, for example, if you're wanting to stop a hurricane, you can actually personify the hurricane as a thought form or an entity and give it that consciousness that you can communicate with, evoke that, and then find out. Shamans do this a lot, actually. They will actually work directly with the intelligent consciousness and the personification of the hurricane to get the hurricane to subdue and turn course quicker to save their area.
Okay. I like that. And then that can also like go back to the whole what was it? The puppets, the familiars, the pretty much anything that you want to personify, right?
Yes.
My goodness, your messages are like going off the wall.
I think that's on your end.
Mm-mm.
I ain't got nothing open.
I don't have anything opened up over here.
I thought that was on your end.
Do you have your Twitch currently open?
Yeah. Does Twitch make noise?
Yes, whenever messages come through.
Oh, that's Black Tower then.
Yep.
Okay. I thought it was Facebook. I was like, I ain't got nothing open.
Nope.
That's just Black Tower chatting with us. He's having a ball. Let's see. However, I would best deal with the law under the undertaking. Mask via DFA. Actually, there's another law that covers that. There's actually a law that covers that masks better. Black Tower.
I read that as natural or marmalade, and I got really hungry because now I'm thinking about making marmalade for dragons because I saw the crunchy, and like my brain just went 3 different directions. Now I'm hungry again.
Actually, in the video I just recorded coming out Tuesday, I actually talked about how the 2 little twins will actually help me cook. And there's a little funny.
Marmalade?
They love jelly.
I will send them marmalade.
They're not exactly super happy I went keto carnivore.
Ooh, I do love me some chili.
Chili
I don't know
good.
what the hell we're cooking tonight. I think... No, I don't know what the hell we're cooking tonight. We were supposed to go on a Costco run, but we're doing this. I had to do homework earlier and drop off my whites at the uniform shop. It's been a day.
We're
It's been
having
a
brats.
day. Ooh. I do not enjoy brats. But I enjoy the smell of brats. I do not enjoy the taste of brats.
Fair enough.
Next up, this is one of your favorites. Law of invocation. It is possible to establish an internal communication with entities from either inside or outside of oneself. Said entities seeming to be inside of oneself during the communication process. The beings within.
Yep. This is specifically talking about the magical workings of invocation, where whether through trance or invoking the power or even the full entity into oneself, you're working with it directly, internally, inside of yourself. A lot of rituals and stuff do this. If you've ever heard the term God form assumption, it's where you actually would bring the deity's power inside you. Your aura would shift into the actual form of the god, and you're therefore wielding their power during the ritual.
Okay. So whenever we're saying the beings within, we're not talking about my all the internal voices, right?
Well, you could invoke those voices. And there are actually a lot of people who think that angels, demons, deities, and all the things worked with in magic are just parts of our own subconscious. So in that case, yeah, it would be too.
Okay, then.
But that's a semantics of philosophy.
There's a cat butt in my face. Okay. Your other favorite one. Law of evocation. It is possible to establish external communication with entities from either side, inside or outside of oneself, said entities seeming to be outside of oneself during the communication process. Beings without.
Yep, exact same thing, only external. And that's what evocation is. You're calling the entity into the same room with you, and you're having a conversation with it and working with it in the room, but not being within you. Basically, you're communicating with the entity the same way you would anybody else in the room.
I feel like every time I stream, I evoke my cat's ass to be in my face.
It would appear that way.
What's up, Subsonic Man? Welcome to the stream, friend.
Cheers! Thanks for giving me a reason to drink more coffee.
Oh, is that what we're doing now?
I don't know, it just sounded good.
I mean, we could start taking a shot of espresso every time somebody jumps into the chat.
I'll do that.
Remind me after the stream to send you the link. Paul got on Kickstarter and he found this this desktop espresso maker for on the go. It is this big, and you can make an espresso shot with it anywhere at any time. You just add some hot water and you go psh.
Well, that's easier than what me and Dragon used to do. We had a coffee pot actually velcroed to the dashboard of his pickup.
See, all you need to do is just put the little cup underneath it and go psh.
Yep.
That's it.
Nice.
Good to go. I will make sure Drake sends you, since you guys are friends on Facebook, I'll make sure he sends you the link that I sent him. You just gotta remind me. But yeah, Paul ordered a couple of those for us, so, I can make espresso at work. I mean, I already have a French press at work. He's got a French press at work. Now I'm gonna have an espresso maker at work. They ain't gonna be able to handle me at work now. I'll just be like, fuck all your bullshit. You want something brief?
I keep a French press in my my travel kit for work, so it's phenomenal. Do what?
I think Sonic Mano's over there having a bit of a stroke in my chat.
Oh.
Getting ready for D&D. I got an idea. You should have a rogue. You should have a halfling rogue addicted to coffee, and you can name it Delinda, because that is my secondary trait right there.
Well, at least you're not a kinder.
I'm not another kin.
No,
Can do
kinder.
that. Oh, like a child?
No, in D&D, kinders are a type of halfling that are also basically kleptos.
Oh,
And they always have a reason for stealing that to them it wasn't stealing, it makes sense. It's like, this wasn't secured in its scabbard, so I figured I'd hold it for you.
oh, see. Fine. Well, I won't give you my ranger idea because my ranger is my baby and I love her a little too much. Like I'm slightly obsessed with her. I will tell you all the details about her. Sort of. I won't tell you all the details because I don't want you to remake my rogue or my
Ranger.
ranger. Yeah. Because I love her. I love her very much. She's my baby. So law 16, law of identification. It is possible through maximum association between the elements of oneself and those of another being to actually become that being to the point of sharing its knowledge and wielding its power. You can become another.
That's the one I was talking about, Black Tower. Yes, this one is a combination of invocation, masks, and pretty much anything that would emulate another. This can be done energetically, but perhaps the best example of this is a lot of shamans where they do work with masks directly. I know we've seen a lot of the Native American rituals where they will actually dress as the animals that they're trying to invoke. And using this concept, you can actually shift your energy, your mentality, your personality, everything over to that being, and you will gain access to its knowledge and its powers. So in a lot of your rituals of invocation, you'll actually see this a lot, where they try to set the room up and even themselves and dress in a manner that would represent the entity they're invoking so that they can get a stronger connection and gain that knowledge or wield that power during the ritual.
Is that similar to skinwalking?
Ooh,
Out of left field.
yeah, skinwalkers are in and of itself a tricky subject, and one I've been researching for a while. I would say yes, but the legends of a skinwalker go beyond just assuming the knowledge to... The legends actually say that these people could actually shapeshift physically.
As long as they were wearing the skin
Yeah, and
of the animal.
I've actually visited several locations in the U.S. following up reports that I can't explain them. I have no explanation for what has been reported, seen, and even the photographs. It blows my mind because as far as I can tell, there are people out there who are literally shape-shifting. And I can't prove it either, but yeah, there's some... Whew. So that... I would have to say that would tie into this law, but this is taking it to a whole new level.
Okay. All right. Moving on. If I can get my thing to unlock now.
You can do it!
I can do it! All right.
And you'll notice, Black Tower, a lot of these laws interweave. And they're written that way because magic itself is like weaving a giant canvas.
So I'm going to propose something real quick because we are getting to the end of our coffee hour.
Aww.
I know. We are on Law 17 of 28.
Ooh.
I know. So I propose we get to 20. We knock out the last 8 in 2 weeks when we come back. And then we start on that other topic that we were discussing.
Okay. You'll have to remind me what the topic was off camera. I'm having one of those moments.
It's
But
okay.
yes,
Senior
just so you all know,
multitasking.
we will have to take a week off next week.
Or we could just stop the topics now and then continue in 2 weeks.
No, let's go ahead and get to 20 and we'll...
Alright.
Because we're going to have to skip that week either way.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll get to that after we finish these laws. That way we don't sidetrack ourselves too much. Okay, up next. Oh, I like this one. Law of infinite data, or data, whichever one you want to go with. The number of phenomena to be known is infinite. We will never run out of things to learn. There's always something new.
That is correct. The ideal of being a master is foolish, ignorant, and to use that fancy word again, hubris. The universe and or multiverse is constantly expanding, changing, and new things are happening constantly. At no point in our lifetime, both mortal and immortal, will we be able to learn everything. So this is important because A, don't lock yourself into a box of dogma where you think you've seen it all, you've done it all, and you've got all the answers. Because somehow, some way, something's going to come along that you don't have the answer for, or somebody's going to be able to accomplish the same goal that you have a ritual for, and they're going to get just as good, if not better, results, and they're not going to do it your way. And this is one far, far too many practitioners these days forget. Because if you're getting results and it's working, who the hell cares if it adheres to this tradition, this lodge, that lodge, that lodge? I don't care if you found the ritual in a Cracker Jack box. If you're getting results and it works, there you go. And every one of us stands to learn something new. All the time. One of the reasons I love teaching is because my students will throw questions at me or they'll have ideals and I get to learn right along with them. Because they approached the question from an angle I'd never considered.
Okay.
Hope I didn't go on a tangent with that one.
It's okay. You go on tangents on everything.
Aww.
But I like that about you. Okay. Next up, law of finite. Things that don't continue on. Your limited senses. Every sense mechanism of every entity is limited by both range and type of data perceived. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. I believe in unicorns.
Yep. And this actually goes for not only humans but all entities. We are limited by the senses and the sensory perception we are given. For the most part, most humans rely only on their physical perceptions. It is true, we can learn astral senses, and we can learn to perceive things in the astral, hear things and all that. But more often than not, in order to use those, it takes more focus and concentration than just our primary physical senses. And here's the big kicker. Our brains cannot process all the data that those astral senses could bring in. And we can actually get overloaded with that. A perfect example. Dragons, when they look at something, they see every place on that person's timeline that is potentially possible. Just when they're looking at us as a snapshot. Now, a dragon has the ability to perceive that. Now, they would have to focus, and it's not like they just download your entire possibilities, because they would actually have to focus on one point or another to make sense of it. But their brains and their ability to perceive that is something they can do. If you were to give that exact same information, even without the focus, to a human, they're likely to pass out or go crazy.
That's terrifying.
And another side to that is when you're working with an entity, you have to consider how they perceive things. One of the things I talked about with the dragon video I did a couple weeks ago, dragons, they view things as what they are. They're very large, they're very powerful, they're very primal. And yes, they could technically fly up into the air and fly over a city and land. But more than likely, they're going to take the shortest distance between 2 points, and they have the ability to just Godzilla through the city. And in their mind, it's just like walking through a forest. They don't mind if they break a few trees.
When you're that big,
Yeah, so their
a single tree is
perception
not
and ours are different, and you have to understand that when you're working with them.
If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to look, was it caused by a dragon? Hello, Lilith. How might I help you?
Good question.
Really? What's up? I did not evoke your butt to be in my face.
Now you just did.
I love you too.
You said the words of power, and there's the butt.
And there's the butt. Okay, now we're coming up to... Oh, now my face is itchy. Law of personal universe. Everyone lives in, and quite possibly creates, a unique universe that can never be 100% identical to that lived in by another. So-called reality is in fact a matter of consensus opinions. You live in your cosmos, I'll live in mine. Yeah.
This one is somewhat debated, and it's actually fun to get a bunch of magicians in one room and throw that in with them. But the ideal is you are constantly creating your own energetic output, and in this case, a universe. Now, that universe is going to overlap with every other universe that's being created around you. So all of them is going to have enough similarities that we're essentially going to perceive what might be a singular reality. But if you were to be able to separate those universes out, you would be able to easily see where they differ. And part of this also deals with, to quote Obi-Wan, truth from a certain point of view. Because a truth that is functional to me and works in my practice might not be a truth that is functional and works for another person. Yet we're both able to create change and get the same results using different methods. Does that make sense?
That makes tons of sense.
Cool.
Also, I would like to let you know that my cat has curled up in my beanbag chair and it is the cutest shit in the world. That's what's going on in my universe right now. Cute cat stuff.
Yay!
All right. Now this brings us to the last question for the day, because we are over time, and then we will get into all the nitty-gritty for the next couple weeks.
Yay!
The law of infinite universes. The total number of universes into which all possible combinations of existing phenomena could be organized is infinite. All things are possible, though some are more probable than others.
Yep. That is essentially in the multiverse. Anything is possible, and they're in one of the many, many, many infinite universes out there. Every reality exists. The best summary of this that I've ever heard was Marvel's infinite universe concept, where every time Marvel wanted to tell a different story, they just created a new universe.
So basically Rick and Morty.
Possibly. I've not seen that show.
You're missing out, friend.
I have Hulu now, so I can actually watch it and see. But
get on it.
Yeah, if you've ever... Anytime you have... Think of it this way. Anytime you have to make a choice between A or B, that choice splits off and creates another universe. In one universe, you made choice A. In another universe, you made choice B. And that split and create its own universe because those realities both took place.
Okay.
And so constantly more and more universes are being created out there.
That makes so much sense. Okay, and with that being said, my last shot for the day is we're out of time. for more of the laws. So why don't we reveal what is going on next week?
I told you these would take a while.
They did. I was not. I believed you, but at the same time, I was like, it can't be that bad. But then I keep forgetting that you and I like to talk a lot. So, yeah.
It's all good.
So next week, ow, gross, ouch. I don't know what just happened. I have like a Charlie horse going on in my thigh, and it hurts really bad.
Oh Lord, how'd you do that?
No, I just moved and it hurt. Oh.
I thought you got one in your side by stretching. I didn't even expect you to say thigh.
Oh God, that hurts. Okay.
Try doing squats. That's usually how I work my thigh. I don't know.
Okay. I'm good. I'm good. Oof.
Oh.
Okay, so now that I hurt significantly just from trying to stretch.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you, just so you know.
I love everybody. All of you are fantastic human beings in your own right, and I hope you guys have wonderful days. Just nothing but a wonderful Sunday for everybody. And Monday, because there are some people that are getting close to Monday now. Mm-hmm. Anyways, you can cut that out of the video, right?
I might.
Anyways, so next week I will be doing some stuff for work, and while it is possible for me to get home before, no, actually it's not even possible for me to get home before, I will be getting home about the time that the show would typically end. So instead of forcing you guys to stay up later than you typically would to watch us, we're just going to skip next week, and we're going to come back kicking ass, taking names, and sharing more information about the cosmos with you in 2 weeks. So that date, I don't know what date it is. God, that's like a residual pain going on now. That does not feel good. However, with that being said, we will be back. We will finish up these magical laws, and then we will have another topic that a lot of people have been asking about. Drake is biting at the bit to cover this topic. I'm excited to learn about this topic because I, too, have many, many, many questions in regards to this topic. Should we leave it as a surprise and just shock them on Sunday, or should we just tell them now?
No, what is it?
Dragon Magic.
Oh, that's right. I can't believe I forgot that one.
Oh, dear God. Well, then, you know what? Next time it's going to be the magical purposes of dildos. I mean, what?
What?
No, so
we'd have to get Katrina here to talk on that one.
We've talked about it back and forth a little bit. We think you guys are ready to learn a little bit more about what Drake focuses a lot of his studies on, and a lot of people seem to be very interested in it. I know I'm interested. I just didn't have a lot of questions because, I didn't have a lot of questions formulated because I honestly have no clue about anything. So, yeah, I've done a little bit of digging in my archives, aka watching a lot of TV shows, movies, reading some books. I have questions formed, and I have references for each and every one of them. Blah ha 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 ha, Drake. Blah ha 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 ha.
I'm sitting here thinking, where are you getting this information from? Because that's the biggest comment. There is no information on it.
So, with that being said, Drake, why don't you tell us about what you're doing in your class, in your videos, and all that good stuff?
Well, I'm sure everybody will be happy to hear that the Arcane Sight class is officially in the review stage. So it's basically done. We're reviewing it, making sure to smooth out as best we can some of the rougher edges. So it should be ready to go live within a week, unless we run into a corrupted file or something. But minus corrupted files, that should be going live at the school in a week. We just recorded the Guardian Dragon video for how to find your Guardian Dragon. That'll be going to the YouTube channel this Tuesday. And that is actually where we're currently standing. Our Friday videos, my life's been a little hectic, so most of those currently have just been me trying to get the replays for the Magical Coffee Hour uploaded that I haven't. So I'm sorry I'm a little behind on that, and I am trying to get another mead video done soon. That may actually end up being Fridays. That's what I want to do for next Friday's video. Is I want to get the next in the multi-berry mead series done. So
I like it. Okay, guys, you heard it from the man himself. I hope you guys are getting excited, super psyched, and ready to do this. I have so many questions. If you guys don't know,
and we finally are getting ready to do the stream with just me here on Twitch. We're going to be calling it Research and Ramblings of a Mage, because that's what everybody's wanting. Is they want to talk. They want me to hear about what I'm doing in my private research and work, and how I do it, and some of the things I test and ask questions. So that's going to be there. And we tagged on the ramblings because we're hoping to do at least an hour stream. And I don't know if it'll take me an hour to talk about what I've done that week. So once we're done talking about what I've done, then we'll just ramble.
I love it.
And that's probably going to be on Wednesday evenings. So. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. So if you guys didn't know, one of the shows I reference a lot here, because it's a huge pop culture topic, especially for young little witchlings and everybody who's getting into the idea of magic and stuff, comes back for season 3 in like a week. So make sure you watch it, because if you have questions, this is the place to ask those questions. I mean, you can ask other people, but who's as awesome as us? I mean, look at me.
You know, I just realized, thanks to you, I could actually write off binge watching that show as work.
See? There you go. Look, you have
what are you doing? I'm working.
You have me, the magical dumbass. I mean, dumbass is my magic. I got all the questions. You got Drake answering said questions. So I mean, what better place to go? I mean, you get to hear me ramble and be a complete dumbass and like have a Charlie horse in my thigh.
Honestly, people, if I don't care where the question comes from, bring it to us, because some of the best conversations me and my colleagues have had come from when a non-magical practitioner, the only thing they knew about magic was Dungeons and Dragons. So they took part in our conversation by asking questions from the framework they knew in order to get the perspective of people who did practice. And those were some of the most awesome conversations we've ever had. And it actually made these mages who they've been practicing for years flex muscles and think of things and answer questions that they had never considered.
I love it. All right. So that's all the time we have this week, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Go check out his videos. Like I said at the beginning, he is Drake, the Working Dragon Mystic. You can go to his Twitch channel here. Highly recommend you give him a follow. You can give him a quick follow over on the Working Dragon Mystic YouTube channel. WorkingDragonMystic.com is his website where you can go and check out his classes that he teaches and all of his different courses and his school and other things that he is currently working on. He also has this awesome Twitter where he keeps you updated on what he's working on and when we're doing the stream. And then he's also on Facebook. Just go check out the Working Dragon Mystic Facebook channel. On Twitter, he is Dragon Working, but you know, who cares about what Twitter calls him? He is still Drake, the Working Dragon Mystic. And I am the Linda, aka Caffeine and Chaos. I hope you guys had fun. This has been the Magical Coffee Hour. Bye!
Bye!